Ibiza Global family, welcome to another edition of our summer interview series here, welcoming artists, producers, label owners from all around the world here in our studio on the outskirts of Ibiza town. And today I have the great honor to be joined by Argentinian sensation Hernan Cattaneo. Welcome, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you? Happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Very good. You're coming fresh off the reopening of an iconic Ibiza destination, the one and only Bora Bora. How was it?
It was really good. I was actually quite surprised because, these days when, things from back in the past come back, there's a lot of some kinds of like a controversy about people saying, no, it's different, this and that. A lot of people complaining about the new Ibiza versus the old Ibiza. And I think it was a really good gig. We did 2 sets, first in the afternoon in the opener side, and then inside the club. And they were both really, really well. It was super busy, a lot of Argentinians. The luck that, it's always been many Argentinians in Ibiza, but especially the last 10 years, we are 100%. All over the place. And they are very, very supportive. We Argentinians are really supportive of our own people when they do well. So every time I play in Ibiza, you get a big amount of Argentinians, and they are very enthusiastic people, as you probably know.
Absolutely.
So they add a lot to the party everywhere we go.
Yes, super nice. So
yes.
It's like a mini homecoming, no?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I come a lot to Ibiza, but they're always there. It's, as I said, we are very supportive of each other. It could be me or it could be somebody else. It doesn't matter. The Argentinians are going to be there supporting, which is super cool.
Yes, and you have in the past few years played more and more often here on Ibiza, and I can vouch for the fact that my friends, for them, it's always the hottest ticket of summer. They're saying to me, we've been saving this date in our calendar to see Hernan Cattaneo, and you've obviously played in locations like Las Dalias, Cova Santa, of course now Bora Bora. What's it like for you to play in Ibiza, and how does it feel to receive such an excited welcome from the island community?
Well, thank you for that, and of course it's super nice to hear. It's been great. I've been coming from Ibiza, I think first time in 1998 to play for Amnesia, for Cream in Amnesia. I used to work for Cream when Cream was like a big global UK brand, and they have their parties in South America, and I was their South American resident, so they had the idea, so why don't you start switching our residents from here, different parts of the world, and I was the lucky one to say, okay, it's my turn to go to Ibiza. That was my first time. And since then, I've been coming and playing for many, many places. Originally, I was more on the bigger clubs, like, Amnesia, Pasha, and all those. Playing also for Perfecto and Renaissance. Always UK brands. They were very, very strong in Ibiza, I would say, up until 2010 or so. And then I started feeling more comfortable playing the smaller, more underground vibe clubs, like Cova Santa or Akasha or Las Dalias, which is amazing, now Bora Bora, or doing, Kilometro 5, all these places where I felt like the sound, the kind of music I like to play works better. And it's been great. And now I would say the last 5 years, especially since pandemic till now, it's been super growing again, and all the shows are always, like a very, very in demand, and people coming and having a really good time. So I'm very, very pleased and also grateful that, again, I have the option to play maybe, 6, 7 shows during the summer, and they are all different, which is cool, because, like I did Bora Bora the other day. Now, tomorrow I play Cova Santa with Nick Warren, which is my friend, and we do back-to-back. Then I go to Akasha, then I go to do a boat party, with the Argentinian crew. So they're all different, and I think that's very interesting for a DJ.
Yes, and tell us about the boat party with the craft crew, right? How is it different? How do you prepare for a set on the sea to maybe an underground club? And what's your favorite part about playing on a rave on the waves?
That's a good question, because I always thought about myself, we DJs, I do boat parties, for example, in the Winter Music Conference in Miami every year, at the ADE in the Netherlands, in New York and around Manhattan. But in 28 years coming to Ibiza, I never played a boat party. And I was always thinking, how strange is that they and you don't see many as well, But I say this with a lot of pride, that you need to have some Argentinians, crazy Argentinians to push the envelope, right? And they decided that, okay, let's gonna do the party, and they invite me to play, and of course, I jump on the idea. I really like both parties. It's fun because it's small, so you get close to the people. I can play here, and you be there at like less 1 meter distance, playing, interacting with the crowd. And of course, you know, there's not many most beautiful places around the world than Ibiza. So, you know, being on a boat, hearing music with beautiful people, you know, on a weekday afternoon, you know, I don't think it can get any better than that. So I'm super excited, super happy. And also, again, as I said, I'm proud that my fellow Argentinian friends are behind this. So, you know, so it's going to be like a very good party.
Yeah. And something interesting that's been happening last couple of years, because for many years it was all about the super clubs, and now we have a hyper club on the island. But there's been a lot of smaller, more underground venues popping up now, especially in the last 2 seasons, I would say, with the no phone policy, analog equipment. Some of them also have like more a vinyl focus. How do you feel about that? Or people are craving to go a little bit back to the old school days, it seems.
I love that. I really, really love that. I said that the other day on an interview that, you know, it could be, because they were asking me, you know, sometimes journalists, they try for you to say, oh, I hate the big clubs. And I don't hate anyone. I think, you know, you have to live and let live. But it would be sad if those big clubs take over the whole island and there's nothing else you can do apart from playing for them. And there are many, many DJs I know that for different reasons, they won't be a good fit into those places, you know. So it's fine, they are there, they exist, and they do their super parties with the big, big DJs, but there's a big, big universe, not the club, I mean the system of music and DJs and clubbers that they want something different. So I'm very, very happy that there's still many, many new and not so new clubs on the island that they care about a smaller capacity, you know, putting a lot of effort on the sound system, like, you know, Akasha, for example, with the sound is amazing. And you feel like you are in your house, you know, it's very, very comfortable, and it's great that in a so popular place like Ibiza, they still have care and love to make clubs like that. Because of course it would be say, okay, it's better to make a big club where you make a lot of money and all that. And these clubs, you know, it's not necessarily a big business. So when you see a smaller club doing the things, it's just there's a lot of love behind. You know, it's not just a money-making machine. It's more about people caring about real clubber. And as you said, you know, no phones, great sound, vinyls, turntables. So I have all my respect for that, and I'm very happy and proud and privileged to be able to play in those clubs almost all the time.
And talking about vinyl, how big is your collection? And do you still collect now, or is it more? Oh
yeah, of course. I mean, I'm 61, so I started playing with vinyl. I mean, probably I play more years vinyl than digital, right? I started collecting at 8, maybe 6, 8 years old. I started playing for the first time at 12, very young in Argentina, and up until I guess 2004 or 5, I was only vinyl DJ. Then you asked, yeah, I have more or less 16,000 vinyls at home. Yeah, but it was, you know, but it's a lot of years collecting. And then now I still buy, not to play. This is a nice, interesting conversation to have in terms of like I always like this conversation when it's, you know, I never think things against something, like it's not digital against vinyl. It's just different options. I think the amount of possibilities the new technology gives you for DJs are amazing. And so it wouldn't be fair to compare, say, what's better or worse. It's just whatever you like. Me, I'm a progressive house DJ, not progressive music, but progressive way of playing music, which is a different thing, and means like all the songs are very, very subtle, mixed within each other, and different styles altogether. And for that, the possibilities that the new Pioneer CDJs or the record box and all that, they give you, they are incredible. And I do many, many things that I couldn't do with vinyl. So I rather prefer to use that. But again, I really like when I see DJs playing vinyl, and I feel like, oh, how cool is that? You know, the smell, everything about vinyl is amazing.
Yeah.
The thing is, again, I have to be honest, and if you ask me, okay, you can do 2 sets, I think the digital set is going to be way more richer in terms of possibilities, and I end up thinking that for the clubbers, what they care is what comes out of the speakers, rather than if you have more fun, which is not so much important. You know, of course, it's good that you're having fun when you play, but you are there to give a good time to the people. And I think I have way better arms in the technological world, in the digital world, to give people a good time rather than me playing vinyl, right?
Yeah.
But of course, it's my opinion. I super agree that there are DJs that say, no, vinyl is much better. Sure.
I know.
Yeah.
There's purists everywhere.
Yeah,
no?
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I would still love to know,
but it's funny,
though.
I understand that.
Yeah. I would still love to know, though, what your favorite vinyl records are. Have you found any really rare gems that you're super proud of to have in your collection?
Oh, yes, of course. And also because I'm a big fan of Japan, and I go a lot to Tokyo, and that's probably the best place to buy rare things. And then also, my favorite ever record is Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd.
Oh, yeah.
And they keep coming with different new editions, you know, and in Japan, the limited editions of this and that includes a different picture, a different photo, and I have them all, you know, every time. It's very easy to sell me any edition of Dark Side of the Moon to me. But also, you know, I have some limited editions, Japanese limited editions from bands that I really like, you know, all over the place, from The Cure to Depeche Mode, but also, you know, and then another treasure possession I have is that back in late 90s, early 2000s, we DJs used to make a lot of acetates. When the digital era started, but not the CDs were not so good, we were all still playing a lot of vinyls. You could make your own vinyls like acetates, right? They would cost you a fortune. You had to pay like 100. When I used to live in London around that time, and each one would cost you 100 pounds, and 100 pounds 25 years ago was a lot of money. I would spend most of my money on vinyl, on acetates. But let's say you would have an amazing track that you produce, and you would send it to me on a CD, and I would go to the pressing plant, and they would make an acetate, and I could play that week. While around that time, if you wanted to wait for get a label, get the test pressing, get the promo, it would come past 6 months. So with the acetates, you could have your own music that only you or maybe a few DJs could have, and being super exclusive, which at that time was very important. There were few DJs compared to now, but the music you have was super important. These days, there's way more DJs, so you know, it's more important what you do with the records, because the records everybody can access almost the same music, but it's more about what you do with those records. Back in that time, it was what records do you have, because you know it was more important. So to finish the answer, so yeah, those acetates are also I cherish them a lot, because also they get worn out. It's not like a vinyl you could play. I don't know how many. I don't know how many times you can play a vinyl. Do you know?
No.
Okay, but probably thousands. But the acetate it worn out. If you play, let's say 100 times, it's gone. So I have a big collection of those from probably 99 to 2004 or 5, which is stuff that is like a limited edition, 3 copies, something like that.
So then, do you save them for a special occasion only? If you
I only play them at home. I honestly, I don't get to play more vinyl lately as a DJ, as a professional DJ. I do for fun at home, or sometimes a friend of mine, you know, in my city, you know, it's a birthday, and say, hey, come with some vinyl. And I do, but it's so super hard. Once, you know, I used to do it all the time, but then now every time I do, it's way more difficult than I think. You know, in your mind, you think like it's like bicycle, that you don't forget. Bicycle, once you learn, you never forget. But the practice of vinyl is very difficult. As you know, like David Morales, the US DJ, used to say, with vinyl you had to be really good. There was no option, because if you're not really good, you are crap. Right? Technology helps you to do that, you know. So when I go back to vinyl, sometimes I realize how difficult it was, and it gives me even more respect to the DJs like Sven Bath, that they keep traveling all over the world with vinyl and playing only with that.
Absolutely. Do you think we're at a risk of that the art of playing vinyl is going to be lost in the future at some point?
I don't think so. I mean, you know, last week it came out the news that the vinyl manufacturing is bigger than ever before. Of course, that's not related necessarily to DJs. There's like, you know, my daughters. I have 3 daughters, and they buy vinyls, and they are not DJs. They just buy vinyls for the stuff.
Yeah, because it's also a piece of art, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But that's already a really good thing.
About.
Okay, but that's a really good thing already. And then, you know, again, I have to be honest. As I said before, I think as a DJ or for a DJ, the possibilities you have with the digital technology are very, very strong, you know, so it's hard to convince somebody to, okay, switch off your pioneers, go back to vinyl. But again, at the same time, I really respect and I applaud all the DJs that say, I don't care the digital possibilities, I want to play with vinyl, which is super cool. The same way, you know, there are people that, you know, they make shoes with the hands, you know, like a traditional old school in Italy, for example, you know, and you can buy handmade shoes. They are super expensive, but of course they have some quality. Exactly. So I don't think that's gonna pass. I think, you know, luckily, again, like I said about the clubs in Ibiza, these two worlds can, how you say,
coexist.
Exactly, together, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very, very nice. And you've, of course, played stages and clubs and festivals all over the world. What for you makes you leave a set thinking, wow, that was really magical, that was really special?
I'm lucky that I have the chance to play some very big events, but also small events, because I like both. And I wouldn't like to have to choose, because I like the energy when you play the right record to 30,000 people, and it's incredible what comes back to you. But at the same time, it's super cool when you play a 200 capacity club where you look the people in the eye like here, and you see the energy and the response of a track or a mix or just that you cut the bass and comes back, right? So I'm very, very pleased and thankful to be able to do that. And then, of course, you know, it's very different if you are playing, I don't know, like a stereo nightclub in Montreal, where you play 24 hours in a completely dark atmosphere, you know, where you don't need to play any vocals at all, you just play dark music at night and everybody's really into it, compared to, you know, maybe if you play a big festival, you know, in the afternoon in Amsterdam in the summer, where it's a completely different kind of music and vibe and people and everything. I'm very stubborn, so I always been a DJ where I play only the music I like. I'm very stubborn of trying to get people have a good time with the music I like. So I always find like how you say a successful party is where by the end people leave with you know with a good feeling of you know like they gave it all and I gave it all. But that can, of course, as I said, that it can vary in terms of like, you know, where is the party, what time of the day you are playing. And then I like to play long sets normally. It's like 6 hours or 10 hours or 15 hours or whatever they let me. The way I play works better that way rather than, you know, like, you know, short sets I don't like. I don't know what to play. When you have 2 hours, it's too short. There's so many great music around, so you wanna play.
What is the longest set you have ever played? Do you remember?
24 hours.
24 hours?
Yeah, many times we do it at this club stereo.
Incredible.
Because probably is what I couldn't say the best, because there's many clubs I haven't been, but it's probably one of the best sound systems in the world, which is very important to long sets, because after 10 hours of your ears still don't get too tired and you still hear well. And then they have a crowd that is incredible, because, you know, I don't know if you've been, but Stereo Montreal, they don't sell alcohol. So no, there's also no lights, no VIP, no tables. It's like a gym, dark gym with a great sound system. So the only reason you can be on the dance floor is because you really care about music, because there's nothing else to do. You know, it's not to show up, not to meet girls or boys. It's not about that. The only thing you can do.
It's all about the music.
Yeah, exactly. So a crowd like that is a dream for any DJ, right? It's people that are expecting new music and new mixes all the time. So I normally play there 2-3 times a year, but out of those, one time is the marathon, what we call the marathon, and we play 24 hours, and it's incredible.
Amazing.
Yes.
And on a long set like that, what carries you through 24 hours? Because let's face it, it must be taxing
it's
on the
super
body
exhausting.
and the mind.
Yeah, and I told you, I'm 61, so there is a tool. You mean physically?
Yeah, or do you basically get energy from the vibe of the crowd, from seeing the crowd reacting?
That's for sure.
And do you go in like a flow state, and it's almost like you get so caught up, time is like flying in front of you? Or?
All of it. Like, first, you only do that, and you plan something like that, and you accept or announce before we're going to play 24 hours, because you already know that it's a club that is worth it. I'm not talking about worth it of me. It's worth about the whole, because also for the people, it's a big effort, right? And they go early and they stay late, and the workers at the club, everybody is in the same mindset. Then of course, I don't play the night before. I rest. I take it easy, chill out. Then we have a friend which we call Dr. Cass, which is like a physiotherapist, and he comes with us and help us to go along. Like,
I love that.
Yeah, it's amazing, because we stretch every 2-3 hours. We stretch like 2 minutes, but that helps you. He comes with like a small kind of like a diet of like marathonists do. Like like we have some juices. It's all natural energy. No any like any chemical stuff. Just natural stuff, but proper. And bars and all that. So there's like a big list of things. Okay, every hour you do this, you do that. So that way. Combined, of course, with the energy that comes from the crowd, gives you the full energy. So once you're playing, of course, sometimes, after 12 hours, you feel like, 12 hours more. Why we promised this? but then that's for some moments. Then sometimes you eat something and then you get the energy again, and boom, And when you watch when you look the watch, it's only 2 hours to go. Sometimes. We arrive at the 24 hours and you feel like you could play 6 more hours. It's magic, but again, it's a very special place. It's a very special crowd, and again, music is what drives us all to the end.
Amazing. And I guess it's really interesting what you said about this marathon experience, how nutrition and stretching and physical well-being all plays into that, but I guess that could apply to a career as a DJ overall as well, because you're traveling so much, you're working very irregular hours, and there's jet lag and all of these things. Do you have any tools that have helped you with your longevity to sustain yourself?
Well, I luckily I've been a healthy, avid person forever. So that, I guess, helps a lot.
Yeah.
My wife is a health coach, so she balanced me a lot as well on helping on what to do, what to avoid. Then I try to stick it's impossible to have a proper sleeping times around your, how you say, your...
circadian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah. That's the word I didn't know how to say.
Rhythm, the
Thank you.
circadian
Thank
rhythm.
you for that. Thank you for that.
I'm not sure if I got it right,
No,
but I know what you mean.
but I guess people understand. So lately I've been using the hoop, the one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the hoop biggest complaint about me is how I miss those cycles. I get to sleep, like 6-7 hours a day, but not always at the time they should be. And I learned lately, probably everybody knows, I didn't, that it's not about how much you sleep, but when you get that sleep. So sometimes if you sleep 10 hours, but it's in the afternoon for your body, your body is not going to recoup the same way if you sleep from midnight till 6 a.m. So sometimes it's better to try to stick as much as you can on your time. Since I live in South America, when I come to Europe, it's very easy, because even if I stay awake up until 6 in the morning, that would be around going to bed at home at midnight, which is fine, Yeah. But when you go to the other side, let's say California or places like that, is way more difficult.
Yeah.
But again, I guess the most important and difficult is to have a balance, right? If you're gonna have a long gig, don't eat too heavy or don't drink too much, stuff like that. I think it's common sense, really. I mean, you shouldn't mix all together, like working long hours and not sleep and party too hard. I don't do that.
Yeah. It is really common sense, but there's a lot of temptation out there.
Yeah, of course, yes.
So
yeah, but
you have to have a good
I've been lucky that since I was a kid, I always been more attracted by the music and giving the people a good time with the music I like, rather than the party thing, the party side, which is fine, but it's not what attracts me the most. Of course, I like to have a good time with like everybody, but that's not the reason why I do this. I could have been a DJ from 9 to 5 all my life, avoiding working in the night. It would have been even better.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Yeah, exactly. And actually, I do these big events in South America called Sunset Strip, and we did also here in Madrid and other places. But and they are like, I play 6 p.m. till midnight, and they work super well, and we get to come to start coming a lot of people that they like club music, but they are not really into being in a club at 4 in the morning, and that, at least maybe because I'm getting older, but it proved me and many other people that you can really have a great time. I mean, if you like the music, if you really like the music, you don't need many more other things, just a good atmosphere, a good place, good sound system. And if it's during daytime or afternoon, sunset into the night, it's a very good moment to have a good time.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, and sorry,
No,
the good thing is that for DJs it's perfect because you get the sunset, which is a great moment to soundtrack with your stuff, but then also gets dark, and then you can also play the other kind of music. Because I like both.
Yeah, best of both worlds.
Yes.
As they say.
Yes.
Very nice. And when you have a rare day off, I don't know how many days off you get, but what do you like to do in Ibiza or at home if you have a free day to yourself?
Well,
or with the family?
I have my wife and 3 daughters, so I try to spend as much time as I can with them. In the summer season, they come a few weeks to Ibiza with me, or we go somewhere else. Now tomorrow we all go to, well, not tomorrow I play here, then we go to Amsterdam, stay a few days there, they come back here. But spend time with the family. You have kids? No, you're young.
I'm not young, but I don't have any kids.
Okay, I have kids, and they grow so fast that you realize that you have to enjoy, because sooner or later they're gonna grow and live. So it's those memories about your whole family, especially in beautiful places like this, are really, really treasure. Yeah.
Yeah. And to finish off, let's talk a little bit about the World Cup, the football.
Nice.
Are you following?
Yeah, of course. I'm a super big fan of.
It's obligatory, no?
Football, of Argentina, of course, my country, and also I'm a very big fan of Leo Messi. So it's very important for us.
So
also Argentinians, we put a lot of our mind into football. Unfortunately, Argentina, like many others, but it's a country where they've always been into different struggles, and football has always been our good moment, where we, not only because we are very good at it, but also we the biggest moments. I told you already, I'm old, I'm 61, and 3 times we were world champions in my life.
Wow.
Some countries they never see at all,
Like
I mean,
England.
you Germans, you did, but not many. So I saw already 3 times being champion my country, and it's amazing. And that's probably, I said this the other day, probably football is the thing that brought more happiness to the Argentinians more than anything else. Unfortunately, politicians always let us down. Economy is always a struggle, but football has always been our thing that gets everybody together, and normally kind of successful. So we are super much into it.
You already said Argentinians have so much passion, and they are some of the most loyal and supportive fans, right?
100%,
Also in the music.
Yeah. More for football, but for music, it's amazing. Most artists, worldwide artists, you can, British bands, American, German, they love when they go to Argentina to play because the crowds are so much passionate.
So how do you rate Argentina's chances? We're going to take notes now for winning the World Cup this year.
We have 3 big matches to go if we get to the final, right? So I'm confident about the next weekend where we play Swiss. They are a very good team, but we have Lionel Messi, which is the best player in history for me. But then it gets tough because it's 1 against England, that they are a very good team now, and we have a big rivalry over there because of many things in the past. So that could be tough.
One to watch.
Yeah, but then on the other side is going to be probably France against Spain or Norway, and that's also a very tough side. France is very strong this year. We beat them the last final at the World Cup. I wish to play Spain because I really like the way they play. I think they are between the best. So I try to think we're going to be at the final, but then it's going to be a difficult one. I trust Leo Messi that he's going to lead us again. But if not, he already won the World Cup and already, you know.
He'll be okay.
And also, you know, a lot of Argentinians, they put a lot of pressure on him. I don't think we shouldn't. I think he already, he already proved everything for us.
Yes. In fact, speaking of Messi, I guess in the electronic music scene, you have drawn comparisons to being compared to the equivalent of Messi, but in electronic music for your country. How do you feel about that? Does that feel comfortable, that comparison?
No, because first for me, Messi is like from Mars. He's from another planet. I know I'm a good DJ, and I know I represent a lot of Argentinians. Not all of them, of course. There are people that they don't like what I do. But you know, Messi is from another world. I'm from this world very much. You know, so you know, it's not that you don't like people can say anything, and I know because I'm Argentinian, that's the way we are. You know, we like there's a Messi for everything. You know, the Messi of this, the Messi of that. You know, but I think Messi shouldn't be compared to anyone because I don't think nobody's compared to him.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Very humble, very modest. We like that.
Thank you.
And maybe last question to close out. What else are you excited about for 2026 beyond the summer?
We have a label called Sudbit. We now doing a very big showcase in Sri Lanka end of the month, which I'm very, very excited to because we did and I really like that part of the world, which is not so much, how you say, conquered for the club international scene. So, and there's a lot of excitement over there as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Then I keep coming to Ibiza in and out, doing all these events, the ball party and Akasha and all that. Then in September we did a big Sunset Strip show, my show, but in Brazil, which is also super cool. Brazil is a great place for party. You know, Brazilians are really, really good for parties, so we lucky to do that. And then we, you know, your going to winter is our going to summer.
Yes, of
so
course.
that's a great moment for South American events. We do a lot. There's a big ones we do in Mendoza in the Andes in Argentina. You know, around the wineries. It's super cold. Yeah, cool. So then you know, like keep traveling, going here and there. We are super lucky people. You know, we get to travel around the world. You know, met super nice people, and so it can't get better than this.
Oh, what a beautiful way to finish. So thank you so much for your time, and we hope to see you again soon.
Of course we will. Thank you very much.
And good luck in the World Cup.
I hope. Thank you very much.